Let's move to some Endrick stuff.
Let's go.
There's a couple here. Well, I'll read kind of together. McG-Boy says, this is probably an outlandish thing to say, and we only have a few highlights to go on, but a lot of what Endrick does reminds me of early age Mbappe, especially the way he strikes the ball, which is my biggest gripe with Vinicius. I still don't think we should be spending so much on such a desperately unproven player, but the market is the market, especially if this doesn't hinder us from making other moves. Afa says, hey guys, I'm happy the Endrick signing is finally done. My concern for the future is how small our forward line will be. If he ends up playing with Vinny and Rodrigo, all our attackers will be less than 5'10". I know we can still grow, but I don't see him adding more than an inch or two. What are your thoughts?
About the Endrick and Mbappe situation here, I think it's overstating Endrick a little bit right now and a bit unfair to what Mbappe did at age 18. Back in the day with Monaco, I think he carried Monaco to the semifinals, knocking down Borussia Dortmund and Manchester City.
Well, how old was he when he did that? It was like 17 or 18?
I think 18. Yeah, I think he just turned 18. Yeah. Like, do we think Endrick will be that good in 2 years' time? I'm not sure. Personally, because
we'll never know because he's not even going to be here.
Exactly. But considering how historically great what Mbappe achieved in Monaco was, the simplest answer and the easiest answer is probably no. We have not seen that kind of achievement in the history of football. So,
but I think what McG-Boy is saying here is about the way they strike the ball.
The way they play and all that. To me, it reminds me. It's funny. He reminds me a little bit. The finish, how good his lower body is, reminds me a little bit to players like Kun Agüero or Tevez, for example, who were very hard to knock down. Obviously, Endrick, considering he's 18, it's quite likely that he grows up and becomes a little bit taller, even considering that both Agüero and Tevez were quite short for a center striker. But reminds me, his lower body and the way he uses that lower body reminds me a lot to how Tevez and Agüero were able to use that particular part of their game and their body to quite basically knock down opponents when they try to recover the ball from them. It's those two players that come to mind when I see these highlights, which is obviously a very small sample size considering how early in his career we're talking about.
Yeah, and just regarding the height thing, I mean, it's not that important to have tall players in football, to be honest. The low center of gravity that some of these shorter players can be really hard to deal with. And the other thing about Endrick is that, I mean, maybe you want to talk yourself into, you lose the presence of a target in the box, like a Benzema type figure or Cristiano or a Bale type figure. That's fair. But the other thing I want to say about this is that Endrick looks really strong.
Yeah.
He's got I was talking to his agent about this a couple of days ago, that like his agent told me, he was like, this guy's a physical beast. You're going to see him really, you're going to be impressed with his strength. And you kind of look at the film and he's really strong. He can just dribble past players, bounce off players. He's strong. He's really strong. And I think that works in his favor. And the fact that he's only 16 and he's already this strong, I suppose, I guess I'm just saying I'm not too worried about his physical stature. Yeah.
No, me neither.
Let me see, look at this. Okay. Leon Stavronakis says, I'm curious as to why Benzema is fit enough to train/play with Real Madrid, but is not in the French team. I'm guessing there was too much uncertainty about his availability at the time of his injury prior to the initial games, but it just seems odd. And I'm wondering if there's anything else to this.